So the next bit we'll move on to then on here is the scheduling of interviews through the system. So say we wanted to book these 3 candidates in for interview through the system. You check the boxes next to the candidates you wish to, and you click at the top here where it says schedule interview. So we click that, and we now see here there's 3 sections to go through for scheduling interviews through the system. First of all, we confirm who the interviewers are going to be. We then confirm the date and time of the interview, and then the communication section where we get to send out the confirmation emails both to the interviewers and also to the candidates. So first of all, we pick who the interviewers are going to be. The candidate's details pull through here on the right hand side and for which job it's for, and then it says here select interviewers. So you can go down and then pick who you want to be the interviewer. If there's going to be more than one person part of the interview process, as soon as you selected the first person, if you hold the control button on your keyboard, you can then select multiple people to be part of the interview process like that. If there's anybody not showing in this list here, but they would be part of the interview process, if you click the add button here, you can add their details into the system, click add user, and then they're added to this list here so they can be selected as part of, say, the interview panel. Okay, so selected our interviewers, and we then click next. This now takes you to the confirming date and time section. So you see here there's a couple of options appear at the very top. So we've got default interview schedule and self-service interviews. Now, default interview schedule is you may have verbally spoken to these candidates and agreed the date and time for their interview, and you just want to use the system to send them out a confirmation email confirming the date and time that you've already agreed with them. That's where you can use the default interview schedule. The other option is self-service interviews. So that allows you then to pick the date and time slots where you'll be available for interview, or the interview panel are available for interview, and then the candidate then books themselves in for their interview based on the slots that are available. And this works on a first come first serve basis as well. So as we've got 3 candidates here, if the first candidate clicks on the link to be able to pick their time, as soon as they pick their time and click submit, that option disappears from the other candidates to pick from, so candidates can't book themselves in at the same date and time for interviews. Okay, so first of all, we'll just run through the default interview schedule here. So we may have already spoken to these candidates, confirmed the dates and times with them verbally, and now we want to send a confirmation email to them. So we choose the default interview schedule. It then asks, because we're selected to schedule interviews for more than one candidate, do you plan to schedule all the interviews for the same date and time or for individual dates and times? Now, if you were running, say, an assessment centre, you could click same date and time, and the system will then ask you just to confirm the date, the time, and how long the assessment centre may last. So interview date, you click on just below where it says interview date, a calendar pops up, you pick the date, interview time, so this will be the start time of the interview, and then the duration, how long do you want the interview to last? And you can choose anywhere from 15 minutes up to 10 hours. So we might say a couple of hours just for this one here. It then asks, do you plan to schedule all the interviews at the same location? Now, if you are, you can just click yes. And where it's got interview location, you just type in the location or the address of where the interview is going to take place. And then the system has all the information it needs then to be able to move on to send the confirmation emails out to the candidate. So that's if you say wanted to book an assessment centre. If you wanted to book it for individual dates and times, you simply click the button there that says individual dates and times. Again, it'll ask you if you're planning to schedule the interviews for the same location. If you are, you can then pop in the location details there. It'll also ask you, is this a telephone interview? So this is where you can choose if you wanted to schedule telephone interviews through the system or face-to-face interviews. If you're doing telephone interviews, you just move that slider across to yes, and then you see here all the candidates are highlighted in red. So all you need to do is click on the person's name. As a case of filling in the blank, so you fill in the date, the time, the duration, and then if the candidate's provided a contact number there, that will then show there. That wasn't the best example. I don't think any of these. So here we go. So here, the number that the candidate's provided on their application form shows. You click the prefer button there, and we'll just pop in the date, the time the interview's taking place, and then how long the interview's going to be. Like so, and you'll see there, once you've selected all the information from that candidate, their information goes from red to black. So if it's all shown in black, the system has all the information it needs then to send out the confirmation email. If you're just doing it for face-to-face interview, you leave the slider at no, and it's a case of just filling in the blanks here. So we'll just quickly populate all these details in there. Okay, so we've selected the dates, times, and the locations for the interviews. We then click the next button, and we come through to the communication section. So this is where we can send out the confirmation emails, both to the interviewers at the start here, and then also to the candidates. So first of all, it asks, do you want to send a confirmation email to your interviewers? If you do, leave the button ticked as yes. And you'll see here it says face-to-face interview email template. Now, if we double click on that, this here is the email that goes to the interviewers confirming the details of the interview. Now, the bits in the double brackets here, so like interview time and interview date, those fields there will be automatically merged. So we'll automatically put in the interview time and the interview date for that candidate based on the information we selected on the previous screen. It'll also pop in the names of the interviewers as well in there for you. And also where it says here, you will find attached their application documents. So just down here, you can choose which of the candidates' application documents you wish to attach to the email, so the interviewers have got that ahead of the interview. So if there's any of these documents you didn't want to attach, just check the box next to it, and it will unselect it from the options there. So at the minute, we'll be sending across the candidate's CV, application form, and if they provide a cover letter, that will be attached too. There's a button here that says attach new files. So if you wanted to attach any other files to send to the interviewers, so it's a list of interview questions or the schedule of how the interview is going to run, click attach new file, and you can attach the file onto the email there. So that's then attached, ready for the interviewers to review. You can do exactly the same. Then we're sending a confirmation email to your candidates. So you'll see at the top here, it's got choose face-to-face interview email template. So you've got a choice of either, if it's a first interview, you can choose first interview confirmation email, and it will then populate the email there that goes to the candidates. You can still attach files you want to send to the candidates should you wish to. You just click the attach new files, and it will attach there. You'll see here that there's links to missing people's values and a map to find where the interview is taking place as well. So that's all been added in there. And then all you do then, if you're happy with all the details there, click submit, and that will then book in the interviews. And then if you were to say a second interview, you just choose second interview confirmation. The wording's slightly different and just informs the candidate again of all the details there. Click the submit button. And you'll see there the status changes straight away for the candidates from to face-to-face interview booked. So you know that those candidates have been sent the confirmation email to be booked in for interview. And if we go further, if we click on the candidate's name, go to their activity log, you can see there the email that's gone to the candidate. They're confirming their interview. And now if I go to my inbox, as I was selected as an interviewer. So from the recruiter side, or the interviewer side, sorry, this is how the email looks that comes through. So you've got all the details shown there. I've got attachment scanners just going through to make sure there's nothing malicious attached to the email. But attached in there will be the candidate's CV, their application form. If they provide a cover letter, that will be attached there. Also attached to the email will be an interview file. And if you double click on that interview file, it will book the interview to your Outlook calendar or your Gmail calendar or your iPhone calendar for you. So I'll just bring it up and I'll show you. So that's how it looks. If we double click on this interview file here and then click yes, you then get all the details there. If you click save, that will then book the interview into your calendar for you there. So are there any questions around scheduling sort of the default interview option or the or an assessment center type interview?
No.
No? Okay, brilliant. I'll just check the chat window if anybody pops anything on there. Okay, so the other option we've got is what we call the self-service interview option. So it works exactly the same way to begin with. So you schedule the interview, you confirm who your interviewers are going to be. I'll just select one interviewer this time and click next. And all we do then, instead of default interview schedule, we select self-service interviews. So we click self-service interviews. It then asks us the interview duration. So how long do you want the interview slots to be that the candidates can pick from? And again, you go from 15 minutes up to 10 hours. So we might say they're going to be 1 hour interview slots. Start hour, so what time do you want the first slot to start from? And the end hour, what time do you want the last slot to finish at? Like so. And where it's got interview date, you just click just below it says interview date. The calendar pops up and you select the date that you wish to book the interviews in for. And where it says select slots, you then pick which time slots you want to make yourself available for on that day. Like so. And if you click the more button here, you can add in additional dates. Like so. That you want to make yourself available for. We'll pop one more in there as well. Like that. So once you've populated the slots that you want to make yourself available for or that the interviewers are available for, if they again just ask, do you plan to schedule all the interviews at the same location? If you click yes, you can do. And then you can pop in the location there. And again, if you wanted to use the self-service option to schedule telephone interviews, you can do. You just move that slider to yes, and then you can pick which telephone number you want to contact the candidate on, and it works the same way from there. Okay, but we'll use this as a face-to-face interview example here. So again, you pop in the location, click next, and again we come through to the communication section here. So again, you can choose to send a confirmation email to your interviewers once the candidates pick their slot. You can send a confirmation email to the candidates, again confirming the date and time slot they've picked. And you can choose again if it's which interview template you want to use. So we just use the first one here. And what you also see down the bottom here is it says self-service notification email to your candidates. Now, even though this is the very bottom email, it's actually the first email that is sent to the candidate. So it just gives them full information there. So you'd like to invite them to attend the interview, please could you confirm your preferred interview slot by clicking here. And when they click the here button, I'll show you in a second, it'll bring up a list of the dates and times that are available for the candidate to pick from, and they then pick their slot there and then confirms once they pick the slot, they get a confirmation email confirming details about these and how to find us. So if we hit the submit button now, you'll then see, because we're using the self-service option, the status of the candidate changes to awaiting interview slot confirmation. So what that means is we've sent the interview slots out to the candidates. We're now just waiting for them to book in their slot. As soon as they book their slot, that status will then change to say face-to-face interview booked. So, and this is how it looks here. So the candidate receives the email here. Say we'd like to invite you to attend the interview. Please could you prefer your preferred interview slot by clicking here. Click the here button. And then the page shows with all the date and time slots that are available for candidates to pick from. Pick the slot that they want, hit the submit button. It then says successfully submitted. If we refresh this screen here, we'll then see the status has changed. Now say face-to-face interview booked. And then now the confirmation emails have come through here to me. So you've got the confirmation email here to the candidate confirming all the details of the interview and the link so they can click on to view further information there. And then also the confirmation email through for the candidate to the interviewer too. There with all the information there. Any questions around the self-service interview option or any questions around that?
No.
No? Okay, brilliant. Oh, yeah. Oh, so I see Paul's just popping in. So we do phone interviews. Can the self-selection include an additional question? Which number can we call you on at your chosen time? So yeah, the email confirmation. So we'll just book in. We'll pretend to book Amy in on the self-service option. So self-service interview. We'll just quickly fill in the dates. Like so. For Amy here, so if you choose is this a telephone, if you move that to yes, and then the mobile number here, so this is the number the candidate would have provided on their application form. So if they've provided more than one number on the application form, you can pick which number you wish to call them on. So we'll pick this one here as the number that they've picked. We'll click next. And then on the confirmation email here to the candidate, it says here that the interviewer will call you on and the number that you've pre-selected there. So this email here, though, if you wanted to tweak it and say, please can you confirm this is the best number to call you on, or something like that, they can then reply back to you and confirm that that's the best number to call you on, for example, like that. So you can edit the email here as well, like that. So would that potentially solve the question there, Paul? Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. Yeah. So the emails you can still edit and change the wording of them there, even though if they're sort of built as the template ones there for you. Any